we've strategically been able to move to a position where it doesn't really matter what the rigs are doing, whether the government is moving towards or away from oil and gas itself, because we can now serve a much wider variety of markets and have strong growth potential, whatever the political climate.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. Joining me is Plexus Holdings CEO, Craig Hendrie. Craig, very good to speak with you. As you recently took up the position of CEO and it's your first time on Proactive, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Plexus?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here. Plexus is a wellhead technology company. We've been around for 40 years, working on pushing innovation in wellheads. A wellhead itself is the device at the top of a well, which helps to manage the safety and integrity of a well. And we've always been at the forefront of exceeding industry standards and introducing new equipment to the market, which has the benefits of improved safety and sometimes potentially massive cost savings. I myself, I'm an engineer by background. I joined the company 25 years ago as an engineer, starting to work on developing some of the technology that we now have. And then I've always been part of the management structure of the company. And I was very pleased to take over in July of last year as CEO with the retirement of our founder and previous CEO, Ben van Bilderbeek. So yeah, thank you. Very pleased to be here.
So I see Plexus has just announced a successful fundraise of £3 million. Could you tell us about that and your use of the funds?
Yes, so Plexus has been at a bit of a crossroads for the past couple of years after previous rounds of massive growth. Over the last 2 years, we have had some license exchanges of our technology with Schlumberger SLB. We've now got to the point of re-entering into the jackup wellhead rental market, which is a market where we have an inventory of rental equipment which can be turned around on a rapid month-by-month basis rather than the 12 months it takes to manufacture equipment from scratch. And we see huge potential with the new modernization that we've achieved with the technology. And so almost all of the £3 million is going into capital expenditure to expand that wellhead fleet from 8 to 16 systems, which will help to give us the revenue which will underpin our growth for years to come.
There's also a retail offer for existing shareholders, which is currently open. What are the thoughts behind that, Craig?
Yeah, so we've completed a £3 million raise from institutional investors and from company management. But we also know that we've had a significant retail following, especially over the last 2 years. So we thought it was fair to also open up a retail opportunity so that any existing shareholders can stand their corner if they so wish.
From an investor's point of view, what type of financial returns can this rental business deliver?
The rental returns in this business are very strong. It's a highly technical business, and we find that we can charge based on what the equipment does rather than what its underlying cost is. And that means we can have a return on investment for this type of rental equipment of less than a year. So it's a hugely profitable rental business, which helps to underpin the revenue of the company so that we can go looking in other directions for other large projects. And also it means that it's a self-funding business. Once we've got to this critical mass of 16 systems, we'll be able to continue to invest as the opportunities and the business grows.
With so many possibilities, could you tell me a bit more about your strategy for growth?
Yes, Plexus Plexus has a wide range of intellectual property and products, all the way from rental wellheads to subsea wellheads, our POSGRIP technology. We've done licensing, we've got connectors, we've got potentially valves and trees. So there's a huge number of directions that we could go in. But what we've decided to do right now is focus in the short term on this rental business. But that doesn't mean that we aren't continuing behind the scenes to invest in R&D, which brings these other parts of the company forward. And so in the medium term, we've got huge value to come from our POSGRIP technology, subsea, for example, and other new technologies that we're working on.
Craig, with sentiments in the UK towards oil and gas at an all-time low, how do you see that you'll be able to grow in such a market?
Yes, that's a good question. We've certainly been hurt in the past by crashes in the oil and gas price and massive changes in UK government sentiment to investing in UK oil and gas. So what we've done is make sure that we now have a product which is optimized for use on jackup rigs, whatever that rig happens to be doing. So, for example, we're still working in the North Sea on decommissioning and plug and abandonment wells, for example, and there is also quite a bit of carbon capture drilling and potential offshore drilling for natural gas and hydrogen storage even. All of that needs wellheads. So what we've done is really wrap up all of our experience and make sure that we've got a single wellhead product which works for those applications as well as for offshore oil and gas. So we've strategically been able to move to a position where it doesn't really matter what the rigs are doing, whether the government is moving towards or away from oil and gas itself, because we can now serve a much wider variety of markets and have strong growth potential, whatever the political climate.
Well, Craig, I hope you'll keep us updated on any progress with that. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's Plexus CEO Craig Hendrie.